My parents took me out of the school I was currently attending in order for me to attend the Performing Arts Magnet School. So in order for me to be able to attend this school, the lottery application process was very different than what it is now in this country. My parents had to put their car in a parking lot at a mall, and my father slept there for 7 days. And that was how the slot was held for me so that I could attend this school. I'm certain that he and my mother had no idea the impact that would have on my entire life. The impact music has on a child, and on anyone really, is emotional, personal, and social development, and all of those are the strongest, in my opinion, of its kind. Learning an instrument becomes one's personal achievement, leading to high self-esteem, confidence, motivation, and a host of other qualities in successful individuals. Through musical experiences, you tend to develop how to overcome frustration through persistence as well as motivation for learning. So let's ponder impact as a two-way street. Are we holding our students to the same standards that we hold our teaching artists and educators to? More importantly, shouldn't we hold our students to the same standards or even better? I struggle with answers to those two questions. Because I run a social music program, I firmly believe that our students, when they walk in, go from people with little access to opportunities to an abundance of opportunities, inequality to an equal and level playing field, and also from minimal access to music education to over 8 to 10 hours a week of learning. In social music programs, these kids have the opportunity to create lifelong friendships, and that starts immediately in a group learning experience. Being involved in a musical ensemble begs to create lasting relationships and lasting arguments. There's nothing more satisfying than walking through the halls of my program and hearing someone struggle through Michael Jackson's Beat It or Mozart or Beethoven, but then just a little further down the hallway, there's a really intense argument talking about the correct way to unpack a clarinet between two 6-year-olds. In order for them to develop healthy relationships and organically grow as musicians, they need to spend intensive time together to learn how to work together. In that time of working together through their relationship comes the birth of their musicianship. But here's the uncomfortable part. What happens when they don't take advantage of those opportunities? For example, forgetting their instrument, showing up late to their group lessons, agreeing to attend a concert, but then not show up for the group. Do we hold them accountable for those things? Now, while I realize that it's not entirely a child's fault, I do believe that we need to lay the foundation to make sure they understand their role in the responsibility. Do we take away from the opportunity? Absolutely not. But we do need to create a teachable moment through that. Otherwise, these missteps will grow and grow and grow until they become an adult and don't realize that they are accountable individuals in this community. I recently had a conversation with a group of our students shortly before I came here because I was dissatisfied with the treatment of the instruments that they are given and they don't have to pay. Because it's a tuition-free social music program, we believe to provide them all of the materials they need to be successful so they can focus on how to be successful and not what it costs to be successful. I was very angry, I'm not afraid to admit that, but I think no matter how old they are, they need to understand that they have a role and a responsibility in their life, and they now have an opportunity to take their life from a place that maybe wasn't so great to somewhere that's super awesome. If we don't start being more transparent, in my opinion, then it is on us if they fail. If we don't hold them accountable, then it is on us if they fail. It's more active and more important to respond holistically to a child and to their needs for development and being present in their growth. It's far more impactful than just hoping they'll get it along the way. It's a delicate balancing act. I'm not gonna say that I am always hard and I drop the hammer and I'm super strict, but I am super strict. I know their backgrounds. I know that they have really difficult lives. I know that they have variances and variables that make it seem impossible to come to school every day. And I validate that, and it carries a lot of weight. And I realize that I have to validate that before I can engage them effectively. But their background shouldn't define who they are. But sometimes it does often overshadow where they are mentally. The beauty of a social music program is we are able, and I am committed to enabling children who have no access to these types of opportunities, to give them those opportunities to study an instrument and learn the beauty of making music in an ensemble. So the beauty of making music, love, peace, flowers, there's all this love undertone, right? But there's still a deeper question. How do we deal with the challenge in the process while still maintaining high levels of musical excellence? We must first acknowledge that there actually is a process to a striving for musical excellence and set a strong foundation. We need to realize that there are many parts of this process, and for me today, that includes trust, high expectations, mindset, and joy. Trust is a major quality. That young man that you see holding that young lady's hand is actually a teaching artist. And children need to know that they can trust you. They need to know that you're going to show up, be consistent, and follow through before they're going to open up themselves to learn and allow themselves to be vulnerable and uncomfortable. They crave consistency. They crave boundaries. They crave saying stop and no and not yet, and follow through. This type of program always brings in hundreds and hundreds of visitors because people are curious. What's going on in these cities? There are all these little children making music on these instruments, but how can they afford it? So people come in because they're curious. They want to see what's happening. They want to feel the energy. They want to feel the vibe. So I had to educate my children, and I had to learn this the hard way, on the fact that anyone that comes through the program is safe, because a lot of times people don't seem safe to a lot of our kids. And I learned this by when we had visitors coming to see the program and our kids are very, very protective of their teachers. And so I have a little security team that I did not know about until a really important donor came in to visit, and a child walked up to him and said, "Who are you? Why are you here? How do you know Miss Calida?" So in that moment, I decided, okay, we need to establish trust. We need to establish the fact that people that come to visit the program are really interested in them as a person and what they're learning as musicians. We need to keep our expectations high. We need to focus on the bigger picture. It's so easy to stay in the current and focus on what's happening right now. When I look at these faces, I don't focus on right now. I focus on 15, 20 years down the road, because then that's really where it's going to matter. This process is what's going to set them up for success much further down the road. It's an uncomfortable stretch to be successful. It's an uncomfortable feeling to have success. But once you can break through that uncomfortableness, the joy and the feelings of love and greatness that comes through is immeasurable. And you can see it in their faces, and you can feel it when they play. The expectations are far more reaching than the notes on the page. This is a very controversial subject. There are a lot of people that think, well, if we put an instrument in a child's hand and they play Beethoven, everything's going to be great. But you know what? You don't know if that child came from an aunt's house or from grandma's house after their parents were working 3 or 4 jobs. So while the music is really great, I'm really more interested in their executive functioning skills and them being able to be successful contributing citizens to this country. Finally, mindset. That's a challenging barrier. We are our own worst critics. We spend so much time in our heads telling ourselves we're not good enough, we're never going to be great, we're okay, we could be better, we compare ourselves. But what if we created an environment for our children where they can collaborate through their learning, through making music, through learning as a group? And through social programs, we're able to do this, and it is so crucial, in my opinion. This is the moment where we learn how to have relationships, how to talk to people, how to look people in the eye, how to say, hey, I'm mad at you, instead of holding it in and letting the anger build. This collaborative learning style is really, it's special, it's intricate, and what comes out of it is something even more powerful that I can't put into words and I won't put into words. I wish I could show you on this screen, but it's powerful, I promise. Music does serve as a platform for change, but I don't believe that it is the sole way that change happens. I believe that people are strategically put into your life to make those kinds of impacts. I believe that experiences that these children have had, visiting college campuses, performing with other students that come from the same similar backgrounds, that look like them, those are the moments that have the social change aspect. With proper care and attention to this mindset, I'm positive we will see a change, and actually I know for a fact that there is a change in the trajectory of a lot of our kids' lives. Joy. All of the things I mentioned before, trust, high expectations, mindset, gives us the opportunity to create joy through music making. It's a safe space for children to explore finding their voice through creating and through these programs throughout the country and really throughout the world. It's exciting to find your personal joy through music and through anything, but it's also difficult, scary, and gratifying at the same time once you figure out that not only do you have a voice, but it matters. We've had some pretty incredible outcomes all over the world with programs like Bravo Waterbury. Some of our outcomes include grades increasing, attendance increasing in school. We're starting to hear our kids articulate about being someone more than just a student. I speak that into their lives every day. When their behavior is at their worst is when I tell them, I'm waiting for you to be that electrician, to be that doctor, to be that politician. It's those words that they keep hearing every day. They start to actually think, I can be a lawyer, I can be a teacher, I can be like you, and it's so important to wash them in those words and remind them of that every day, even when their behavior makes you question your life. You just need to remind them that you see something more for their lives so that they'll work a little bit harder to be a little bit better. I believe that we have something really powerful and impactful through social change programs. We're showing the world that people of different backgrounds, races, colors, from different cities, states, countries, can be as one working together for one common goal, creating impact. Thank you.